afternoon, good lunchtime, West Ham fans. It's Friday, so it's time for Have Your Say Friday. Yes, everybody, Russ from the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Another week has gone. Congratulations, everyone. We have got through another week, and then West Ham will ruin it all tomorrow as we take on Ipswich Town at the London Stadium, 3 p.m. kickoff. We had Alfie Indra on yesterday talking about the game. Go back and check that out. It's a good old chat with Alfie. Top man indeed. But as I say on Friday, it's your show, so we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But what we're going to do is we're going to bring on, as we like to do occasionally, West Ham boys, West Ham girls who are doing bits, as the kids may say, and sort of highlighting what they're up to, giving a bit of promotion. Now we've got a guy, and actually we had him on. I can't remember. Must be about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It's the rapper Deot. You remember him actually from when he did that song about Declan Rice, but we don't talk about it anymore. We don't talk about Declan who exactly, and that got into the top 20, the top 40 rather, in terms of the download chart. So let's get Deot on, and we'll have a chat because, and actually, it fits in quite well. We're talking about Alfie yesterday. Alfie's got the gaffers, which is all about FC 25, EA FC. What was FIFA? EA FC 25. Deot has actually got a song on it now, which is fucking amazing. Let me bring him in. Yes, Geezer, how you doing, man?
Good,
long
mate.
time.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Just getting on with it, chipping away. It's Friday, isn't it? I think it is Friday. Yeah,
Just
Friday.
about.
Wicked.
Just about Friday. Just about Friday. Now, I remember when we last chatted, it was before the whole Declan Rice thing, before that all came out, and you just starting properly getting going, weren't it? And now, you're on one of the biggest on the soundtrack, one of the biggest computer games in the world.
I know. I couldn't believe it. Like I've got like a vision board thing that I write out at the start of every year, which like sort of goals I want to accomplish. And FIFA, as I refuse to not call it, that's been on it for about at least 7-8 years, if you know what I mean. And it's a bit weird because like I thought my best chances of getting on it were probably the football themed songs. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we obviously done the Declan Rice, and then we done the team of the week as well, the one that gave good old Dawson a mention, and then he heard it, and then I got that interview on Sky and stuff. So I thought I was going to end up getting on it with one of like my sporting theme tracks, and then I kind of stopped doing the football niche music and just went back to releasing normal music again. And then it was one of them that got on it. So I was like, bloody hell, it's a bit weird, but hey ho.
Have you played it and listened to yourself on it yet?
Yes, I've got it. It's literally on. I've literally come off it to do this, and the next match is pretty much loaded up for us as soon as we finish. And every single time I'm between a match, I'm just constantly pressing the skip button to get to the song over and over again. It doesn't get old. It doesn't get old.
Yeah, that's mental. It's really good, man. It's really. I love seeing when, like, particularly obviously, I know a lot of musicians and how hard it is getting into industry, getting stuff like that. And when you see someone like yourself, and I know you put the hard yards in, and now it's sort of like starting to come to fruition a bit, mate. It's good.
Yeah, I'm not a spring chicken as well, so like I hope it can be like, I don't know, a bit of like an inspiration to people. I think a lot of people sort of throw in the towel too early, if you know what I mean. I just stubbornly just kept going and going and going, even when it weren't working. So it's nice to see as well, because a lot of like the rappers that are doing really well nowadays are definitely on the younger side, like early to sort of mid-20s. But I think it's quite nice to show people that if you keep going and chipping away, your age don't really matter too much either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. And the single "Tainted" that's available to watch on all the listens rather on the downloads and shit like that. All those ones.
Yeah. It's been out since January, and now it almost feels like a bit of a re-release, to be honest, because like it's obviously taken on a bit of a life of its own now. It's like a remix or like a sort of modern day rendition of "Tainted Love" by Soft Cell.
Chill
So
tune, yeah.
those guys were nice enough to let me use some of the parts of the original and stuff.
How does that work? How does that work? Because obviously nowadays, I'm not being funny. Flo, my daughter, knows every fucking song, like all the old songs, because obviously they all get remixed and put on TikTok, and she knows them all. How does that work? Do you have to like your people, their people?
Well, usually you got to get in touch with their publishers because it'll be their publishers that own the rights to the music. This, I'll be honest, like this one, I was naughty. I didn't bother, and I just put it out. That was in January.
Forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah, I did just put it out and hope for the best. And then my publisher came back to me and was like, "Oh, they want this one in FIFA. We just wanted to check that this is all cleared and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, funny story there. It's not." And then they kind of like, "Oh, you fine?" And I was like, "Nah, let's chill." I was like, "I'll sort it out." And then I kind of just emailed them. I think it was at first they were like, "Nah, this really goes against like the themes of the original, and we're not really keen on this." But luckily, FIFA's obviously such a big deal.
Yeah.
That when I mentioned, well, that's a shame because it was going to be in FIFA, but all the best. They kind of came back. Oh! And I was like, "Oh, you're interested, are you?" And then we came to an agreement. So it's nice because it almost feels like it's such a classic, and now like I own a bit of it, if you know what I mean, in a weird sort of way. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, brilliant, mate. That's good to see, man. That's good to see. And obviously, when we had you on last time, we were like Miami's 11. We spoke at West Ham, and you know, and obviously, big West Ham fan. The family's big West Ham fan. Obviously, you know, we got the game tomorrow, and it's a new regime. You know, when we last spoke, it was in the Moyes era. We're no longer in that era now. What's your take on the Loppy era as we're looking at it now? That's it. That's what we need to say.
It's definitely. I think it's definitely too soon for panic stations.
Yeah,
definitely too soon for that. The team still needs to gel. The only thing that worried me is like the lineup that we put out at Chelsea, minus Todibo, was kind of the lineup everyone's been crying for, if you know what I mean. And it still didn't really work. Well, that's an understatement. It really didn't bloody work, and I was there to witness it. I just think they just need time. They just need time. He just needs to decide who his team is, and not only that, but what I've noticed is in the games he's constantly rotating the players, like the top three, and I find myself thinking, how do you expect him to really bed in when you've got those front three just constantly rotating and not staying in a single spot and then kind of getting used to each other? Fulkrug's giving vibes of Haller and Skamaka, of just being a big guy with no pace, usually on his own. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it. Tomorrow will be quite telling, I think.
I think tomorrow is a huge game. You know, it makes a massive difference, obviously, going into the international break, but obviously going into this international break and our next game being Spurs away, you know, so it is, you know, which is a lottery, really. Anything can happen. And obviously, then we've got Man United at home. So I agree. I mean, that seems to be sort of the general vibe is people are, you know, there's a few people, obviously, they've seen enough, they've had enough, and fair enough. That's their point. That's their prerogative. But it does seem a sort of a sort of wide consensus that, or wide vast majority that people are willing to give it time. But I agree. I mean, he's used every sub.
Yeah.
He's used 30 subs in 6 games, which. Again, you can see both sides. You can say, okay, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's tinkering. He's changing it. But the other side is one of the major criticisms of Moyes was never utilised the squad.
Yeah.
The fact is, he's utilising the squad. So you don't really, you know, I think the result tomorrow will probably determine what's if it's if he still doesn't know what he's doing or he's, you know, tactically trying to change things. That's what I do like about his subs, though. He brings on. He doesn't bring on. You know, Moyes was always. 4 hours off, Ben Rama on. Ben Rama off, like 4 hours on. Light for light. Literally, you couldn't say fucking Saturday was light for light. Fucking hell, you know what I mean? It's like, by the end of the game, we had Kudus, Paqueta, and Bowen on the bench. So it's like, fucking hell, you know? And it's, I think there's going to be a catalyst. There's going to be something, whether it's a game or whether it's a moment or something where it either slots into place or it fucks up completely.
Yeah,
And I feel like we're on that verge at the
you
moment.
see, you kind of see like you see spurts of it sometimes. Like you'll see the odd like Paquetá Somerville link up, and then you think, oh, that was nice, and then you just won't see it again for like another 180 game minutes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like Somerville, but the thing that always screams at me every time I watch him is, Jesus Christ, you're so small.
Yeah, he's little. Yeah,
he's such a little man, if you know what I mean. And he's got so much flair, but I just don't know if in the Prem, I just don't know if he's going to be able to squeeze past people. I think the main problem that people have got is it's a bit PTSD from the Pellegrini era, because it is quite similar, isn't it? You get in a foreign manager with a good track record, you got a load of new toys on the pitch, and you're trying to play around with it, and then it just goes to pot, if you know what I mean. I don't think that's going to happen this time, because like the quality is definitely there. But yeah, it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one, but I think tomorrow will be all right. I did a thing with this website called One Football yesterday, where I had to predict all the weekend's results against like this AI robot thing. And we both predicted 3-1 for tomorrow, which sounds pretty.
Oh wow! I think now it's got to a point where I think we need a win. I think someone put in the chat that we can't go into October with not even a point at home in the Premier League, really, let alone a win. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
I think we need something. I think it's gonna be one of those ones. I mean, I was talking to Alfie yesterday, and obviously big Ipswich fan, the second most famous musician who's an Ipswich fan after Ed Sheeran. Couldn't get Ed on. Ed was busy. So Alfie came on instead, bless him. And he was saying, look, we'll fancy it tomorrow. I mean, they play really good football. They play some really nice football. It's going to be a really good game, I think. And I just think we've got a bit more. He was talking about the players, and a couple of players, obviously, we were linked to, like Jack Clark and people like that. But I think, if we can get it ticking, if we can put Mo in the right position, we should win comfortably, I would say.
But he had the ump last weekend, didn't he?
Well, they all did, didn't they? Particularly him by accounts. But I think again, like I read into that. Like, to be honest, that happens all the time. Every football match, it happens on the Sunday league. And people moan about Bob's mates turned up and they put him straight in, not this guy who's So it happens all the time. These little sort of flare ups, and I think it's just. It just came out, and I know that this has probably happened millions of times in a West Ham dressing room across the years. But it was just, when it's always bad news, you seem to sort of throw more fuel on the fire. And if we'd won all 5 games so far, or 6 games so far, no one would have even given it any column inches or anything. No. But
it's always a tough one, isn't it? Because like. You can kind of see what the manager means, like when he says, "Oh, but he's not. He wasn't really being a team player," if you know what I mean. But he doesn't pass the ball sometimes, but that's because he is so capable of just doing it himself.
Yeah.
So where's the balance?
Yeah, and it's not just that. I think and he's he's obviously in a position which is ineffective. He's not a left-sided player. He's a 10 or a right. But he should really be a 10, because a right would mean you have to put Bowen up front, and that's not Bowen's best position, right? So he's probably frustrated. He's not getting a lot of ball. We're away from home. So, naturally
he wants to make it happen.
Exactly. So and that's what he's done all season, last season, and all through this season. It literally seems the tactic was give the ball to Kudus.
Yeah, which I'm happy with.
To Bowen,
I'd rather watch him trying for 90 minutes than just passing it around the back.
Yeah, and he commands 4 or 5 people all the time. I think it was the Chelsea game, and he had literally every time he had the ball, 3 or 4 players around him. So why, if we're clever, there should be an overlap somewhere for Bowen to run into or Antonio to run into. But listen, it's going to be a big game tomorrow, and I think it's, as I said, I'm hoping for a positive result, because just otherwise you've got 2 weeks of no one. And that's the issue with no European football, is you stew on things now. Where we've got like the Thursday, Sunday, it was like Thursday, a good game. Now we've got Sunday, Sunday, shit. Now we've got to wait till Thursday. We haven't got that now. It's massive.
Yeah, I think it just needs to. I think it's like you said. It's either going to be a moment where it clicks, or there's going to be a moment where it goes to shit. If you know what I mean. My gut is that it's going to click. I think it's going to click.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think so. What's the what's on the horizon for Deot? What's the next thing on? What we got coming up?
The problem with things like FIFA is kind of like how you top it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna keep making music. I've been in the studio pretty much all week putting some new bits together. Just gonna sit down probably next week. Obviously, as you know from before, I don't have any management or anything like that. It's literally just little old me in the back room at my missus' house at the moment. So I'm just gonna sit down, listen to all the music with my headphones on, and just maybe start previewing some stuff on social media. See what people like and what people don't, and then just make a plan. Hopefully, get what month are we on? October. Maybe get like 2 more singles out before the end of the year, and try and capitalize off the new eyes that are on me because of the FIFA placement, and then just do what I've done for the last 13 years, really, which is just keep chipping away and hope for the best, really.
Exactly, and as you said, now you've got that sort of in your bio now.
Yeah, it's a bit.
That's massive, you know. That plus, top 40 download with Declan Rice, and it adds to the the sort of the opening caption on the press release, isn't it? So
yeah, no, absolutely
really
does.
Cool, it's really
absolutely.
Cool. It's really cool. And as I said, everyone, to be honest, I'll probably give it a little play. Are you at the game tomorrow?
But you know what? I'm not. I'm gutted.
I might give it. Let me know next time you're in, and I'll give it a play, because it's always cool. I always try and do that with like you stuff, and that'd be really, really nice. And I'm sure people will. Oh, that's from the EA Sports thing. That's from EA. Yes, it fucking is. West Ham boy.
The good thing about it is synonymous with sports, and obviously, as you know, I've been working with Tom and the guys that are really good at that kind of thing. But yeah, I didn't want to just like do it for the sake of it. I thought, but it's because it's on the football, because it's on the game now. You got to imagine, like in a 70K ground, you got to imagine at least a fair share of them will play FIFA. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, at
it's
least
true. It's that sort of like it's those sort of things which sort of you sort of join the dots up a little bit. It's like you hear a song. Okay, yeah, I get it now. I understand what's going on. But no, it's good, man. It's good to see West Ham boys doing well. And I mean, I don't want to keep you from your FIFA any longer. I know it's. See, I keep calling it FIFA as well.
It is FIFA. Always will be.
It will always be FIFA. But yeah, man. You got my deets. Come on, whenever you want, mate. If you're programming anything else, let me know. And
we'll appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy boo. I'll let you go and go and enjoy your lunch, man.
See you soon. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Deot. Thank you. Cheers, man. There he is, good old Deot. Lovely fella, West Ham fan. You remember him from the Declan Rice song he did, but we don't talk about that anymore. But it's fair play. EA's not EA. Yeah, no, it's EAFC, isn't it? EAFC 25 soundtrack. Fucking well done to him. You know what I mean? Well played to him, son. Right, let's go for some comments. Kev says, if we lose tomorrow, it's the manager's fault. Well, we've got a head coach. So that's £1 you need to the food banks. We've got a squad now to do better this season. I agree. I was talking to a guy the other day, actually. He was talking about West Ham and, how's it all going. And obviously I think he's an Arsenal fan. And so we're chatting. And what was really interesting was to get his perspective. And he was like, you'll be all right. He's like, sometimes I think we see the worst and we fear the worst because it's our club, where people looking in go, okay, well, I said, well, we've had 22 players in and out. That's a lot. That's a Premier League squad's worth. I know. And you brought players in, some for the Premier League ready, some who not, and there's injuries. And I know it's the same with every club, but I agree with what Dee was saying. I think there's going to be. It's almost like the way I see it is there's like a puzzle. There's a couple of bits, and they're almost ready to be pushed in and complete the puzzle, but they're not quite ready yet. Maybe they're not in the right position, or maybe one's in the wrong place. And soon, either the whole thing's going to be complete, or it's going to be in the floor in pieces again. Part of me's all for that because I'm excited. Because either way, it's going to be a journey, as we've had for being West Ham fans for many, many years. But I think there's, I'm more confident that it's going to be the previous rather than the latter. Russ has gone for the June. I needed it, mate. Honestly, I tried to get it done on Tuesday because I had a conference still on Wednesday, which actually I saw Aid had the friend of before, friend of the channel. AD Happy and the basketball player. So we had a chat, and I really wish. And he was asking about Kudus. Is Kudus going to Arsenal? I don't think so. Anyways, and I needed a haircut, so yeah, I got it all done. Because I'm going to be on telly soon. We'll wait and see that. I'm going to be on the telly talking about West Ham. So keep an eye on that. Holding my breath, anticipating this week's Team Sheet Bingo. I love it. That is literally what we should call it, Team Sheet Bingo. I think tomorrow is a must-win game. With the next 3 games after, not easy. They're not easy. As I was saying to Alfie yesterday, for me, the easy games are the ones I worry about the most. Do you know what I mean? The ones we should win because there's extra expectation on people. And I mean, the Spurs away, anything can happen at 3 Point Lane, we know. In terms of Man United, they might have a new manager by then. Who knows? But I fancy us against United at London Stadium. But we need to get that hoodoo off about. We need to get some points. We need to get a win. Because otherwise, the first win, are you going to assume that Man United will be the first home win in the Premier League this season? I think the chances are it's less likely than Ipswich, for example. But Ipswich are no mugs. They're a good football inside. They play some good football, got some good players, some players we were linked with. The likes of Jacob Greaves, who's playing really well centre half. Jack Clark, if you want to hear all about it, go listen to me and Alfie. And a very competitive episode of Player Pictionary as well, patent pending. Alfie sort of saying they went to avenge from the playoff defeats. That was his first sort of footballing memory. Was that playoff to Upton Park? He said it was very scary, very intimidating. TB, all right, bruv. See you on Sunday. Did you? Oh yeah, I'll text you. Rather than just sort of relaying our family laundry in front of people. I hate being a West Ham fan. It's constant depression. Ralph, doesn't the sun cancel out the misery? What worries me is the notion of changing the lineup so late. Apparently, he did it against the Rent Boys. He looked like we're going to talk about that Hammers headlines. Apparently, there's he's by the counts he's a tinkerer, and it may frustrate and rub players up the wrong way. And I totally get that. And then an energetic win is a must. Scraping a draw or win isn't nearly good enough when you look at the team and the name of the scores. For me, Frog, I'll be honest. I think it's the win first. And I think for me, performance is second. Because irrespective of how we start the season, I mean, it's 14th play 15th. Do you know what I mean? Ipswich haven't got a win this season. We haven't got a win at home this season. I think we need the 3 points just to start getting stuff going, and hopefully with a good performance. But for me, it's the result first in this respect. But I totally agree. An energetic win would be lovely. When they play like headless chickens, then they just end up playing shit. This is Peter. Could be end to end. I think our Premier League now should be enough to. Well, the thing was, I mean, talking to Alfie as well, he's saying, what's the main differences between the Championship and the Premier League? Is that just quality? You give a mistake and you get punished, and the strikers are lethal. I was like, well, you don't have to waste so much about that with Antonio, but any mistake, I mean, they are relatively still naive to the Premier League. Obviously, Calvin Phillips is playing really well for him. Ben Johnson's not even getting in the starting lineup. He's being a sub, really. Liam Delap up front, playing really well. Obviously, they scored first against Man City, didn't they, in the first game of the season? Jack Clark's playing well. They've obviously got Sammy, West Ham fan, on the bench for Blackburn Rovers striker. So they've got some good players, and I think the worst thing we want to do is allow them to get their tails up. So if they get their tails up, that's going to be really tricky, because then there's just not necessarily youthful exuberance. I'm not trying to sound what's the word? Undermine them, but it's a bit like when you're playing a team in the cup, isn't it? If they start having a go, and then they sort of get it all, everything sort of starts to get exciting, and they get excited and energetic, then you haven't really got a chance, in all honesty. We will be doing the members draw today for the month. We haven't done that, and obviously members had your you had your monthly ex-player chat with Sebastian Schemmel. So go listen to that. And obviously, you had your podcast and whatnot every week. We will be winning 3-1. It's the game where everything will click. We can't play Rodders and Alvarez in midfield for this one. We do have a habit of livening up after a goal down. Step forward, Jeff Pike type Irvine, indeed. Obviously, caught up to the West Ham, the Scottish national side. Everyone's saying we need to win, but to win, we need to score enough goals. Where's the free scoring squad that we had? We were missing. I think we're missing Rice now. I agree. I don't think we did miss him last year, but I think we're missing him now. I think it's clear to me that, when we've got this massive squad rotation, which is what we're having now, you need someone like a consistent presence in the midfield, and we haven't got that really. Alvarez has been suspended and injured and whatnot, so I think you're probably right. You're probably right, ladders. We never really replaced him. We got away with it last year, I think, but not necessarily this year. This season, we've conceded a goal early on in several times. Think about that for a second. Need to win, and most of all, look like a proper team. You were talking to a guy like Guy Pearce. You were talking to a guy like Guy Pearce. He's a hammer. What? I don't know. If we can stop them scoring early, we have a decent chance. I think if we score first, we need to get going. Winning tomorrow isn't a given. Ipswich remind me of Alan Pardew's side. Totally agree, Kent. We're 100-piece puzzle with 50 pieces missing. Afternoon learn. Hope you're well. Couldn't even handle a loss if the squad actually. If I could even handle a loss, I think you could, Frog. I think, to me, there's a big percentage of the fan base who'd go into absolute meltdown if we lose tomorrow, and I think rightly so. To be honest, you look at the sides we've played, particularly at home. I mean, away, there's an improvement away, that's for sure. We're harder to beat away than we have been under previous regimes. The 3 games we've played, we've done better than what we've done previously. In fact, was it 3 losses last year from those 3 games? Where this year, 5 points. So that's good. But it's the home form, and when you look at who we played Man City, we played Aston Villa, we've just beaten Bayern Munich, played Chelsea, arguably one of the most. I think on paper they are one of the most dangerous sides in the Premier League. When they click, they are devastating, and I think if they didn't, and they clicked, and we let them click when we played them last. Obviously, beat Bournemouth 1-0 in the cup, but doesn't really count, really. I don't think so. Obviously, then we got knocked out in the next round. Liverpool have 12 signings. Excuses have run out, says Learn to. Fair play. Massive 3 points, 2-0 clean sheet, please. Could this be the start of a season? Let's hope so. Still willing to sell, but want 80 million now according to Team Talk. Well, there we go, Team Talk. It's got to be right. Do we know that the ref has been assigned yet? No. Johnson Phillips will score against us. Johnson won't even get on the squad on the pitch. He might get it towards the end, but not even start him, to be honest. If Arsenal get Duran, I reckon they could win the league. This has got 1-1 written all over it. If you want to, if you're not a channel member, you can become a channel member by hitting the join button down there, and you'll be entered into the draw. We've got quite a bit. We're going to there'll be a few prizes actually today. Got a couple of signed bits, got a couple of mugs, a couple of shirts, metal shirts as well. So going to have a few prizes this week. Don't forget the West Ham. Yep, indeed. Sammy Shimrick, he's again been on the bench, but there we go. Been so impressed with Eddie Ailey under 21. Yeah, I mean he's a step. He's been 18s and stepped up into the 21s, playing well. Sort of left wing back, played really well on Tuesday as well. He scored a brace against Chelsea on Friday, and then came on at half time against Wednesday against Athletic Bilbao, and was the difference. Very quick, very direct. But so is Flavio for Womley on the right hand side. He was very quick as well. And Judy Robinson, I thought, played well yesterday on Wednesday as well. We need to muscle them early on, physically dominate from the go, and the goals will come. 2-0 says Reg, Phillips and Johnson. Has Paul McKenna been at training telling them they are footballers? That's an old reference, Peter. Half the people won't know who Paul McKenna is. Right, let's go to Orford is literally a Rice regen. No, he's not. He's not at all. He's totally different from Declan Rice. I He's a Michael Carrick regen, not Declan Rice. Not at all. He's Michael Carrick. Declan Rice regen potentially could be Josh Briggs. Not yet, but could be. Josh, for me, reminds me of watching Declan Rice when I watched him play at the under 18s, when he sort of played the under 21s as well. He has the potential to move into midfield if they decide to. But Lewis is very much a Michael Carrick, very classy player. Always has time on the ball. Right, let's go through. Right, what's people saying? You have a mixture of really good and bad opinions. Damien being nasty again. What's the main thing tomorrow to get the home? I think it is. I think it is. Now, I don't really agree. I don't. Some people want this and that, and I totally get it. But for me, I need 3 points. I need to get this hoodoo off our back in terms of winning. We haven't won at home and got a point at home. That needs to change straight away. Are you doing a pre-match pint by the ground? I'm going on my own. Well, it's not not a pre-match pint because it'll be a pre-match bacon roll probably. I'll be there very, very early doing the match day morning, and yeah, should be good. Who would you play up top, Russ? Well, I think it's going to be Antonio up top. Personally, just because we know Fulcrum's not going to be back, I don't like Bowen up top, particularly against someone like O'Shea and Jacob Greaves. They'll eat him for breakfast. They'll eat him for breakfast. So that's what I'll do. I think it will be Antonio. We need a quick quick goals to get the crowd on our side. I totally agree. That to me is important, Scott. It's literally to start off quick. And nick and get the first goal for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? And don't sit back because Ipswich are one of them push forward, which means there should be more gaps at the back for the likes of Kudus, the likes of Bowen, the likes of Antonio to run into, and let's just go from the off. Do you know what I mean? Couple of goals exactly. What's everyone's thoughts on formation tomorrow? I hope Dino is rested. I think he'll do is. I think it'll be the 4-2-3-1. That's what we're used to. The majority of players. I quite liked Dino as a right back. I'll be honest. However, my preference would be Emerson and Wan-Bissaka. But there's options there. It's good that we can change it, and Emerson's not indispensable. Good player, but doesn't mean to say, if he's not playing, he can be hooked off. Same as if Kudus not playing well, he can get hooked off. I know he's the best player, but if you're not playing well, let's give someone else a try. Personally, I'd love it if he went with a Somerville, Kudus, Bowen 3. I just don't know if he will. If this was Davy Moyes, I know he would play Kudus on the left. I know it because he was stubborn, and I don't have that ideal. I don't have that vision when it comes to Lopetegui. I think he seems to be more pragmatic than stubborn, and so he's happy to change things. He's happy to admit when he's wrong, and for me, he's lit. I think the idea was just to put the players on the pitch, not even necessarily give them positions. It was that front three. They're quite mobile, and if he plays Kudus as a 10, then for me, then if Paqueta's playing, then he's obviously alongside an Alvarez, and so. But then you've got the whole Tommy Soucek issue, haven't you? There we go. GP would move me to the hot tub and hot dog stand. You wish. That's only on my OnlyFans. Oh, my bad. I saw them too many people. That's the thing. No, it's when people don't watch game. I'm not singling you out at all. But obviously you heard of, for me, there's no comparison with Declan Rice and Lewis Orford. It's people who think they know and they say things, and then people listen to them. Lewis Orford is an incredibly gifted player. He has got so much. He's one of these guys. You watch him play. He probably every game 95% pass completion rate, range of passing. He was captain on Tuesday. Now, Declan Rice, he takes the ball and drives forward. Lewis doesn't do that as much. He uses the passing. He'll drop a shoulder, he can beat a man, but he's more about, as I said, if you watched him, he reminds me of Michael Carrick. Always has time in the ball. We had Ollie Scars playing sort of left side of midfield rather than left back or left wing back. Obviously, the under 21s and 18s play 3-4-3 basically. So again, it's sort of, that's always been an issue for me. It's like, well, why doesn't everyone play the same fucking formation? And then if Ollie gets pulled into the side, into the first team, he knows how it's all set up. He'll go in, the lads, the academy lads, are on hiding to nothing, really, because they go into the first team and they play 4-2-3-1. And it's like, well, I've been playing 4-3-3 literally my whole life at West Ham. I have a gut feeling he'll bench Kudus. Don't know, to be honest. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think Moyes would have benched him. Do you know what I mean? But I think there's a possibility that he'll not succumb to his desires, but will say, right, okay, this is the game. Yeah, this is the game. You're in a 10. Somerville's on the left. Bowen's on the right. That'd be fucking awesome if we did that. Lewis's stylish eye for pass, intelligent for whatever he is. You're right. Hasn't got the physical in him. Surely getting our 8th win this year would be good. It's only October, indeed. Some might like his, but Antonio's a championship. He should be on a sub. Antonio is. He's, for me, yes. I respect what he's done. Premier League all-time goal scorer all time, all that type of stuff. But at the moment, I think he's our only option to start with at the moment, in my eyes. I don't think Danny Ings works in that situation. Nicholas Füllkrug's injured. For me, it would be Nicholas Füllkrug starts in an ideal world, plays 60 minutes, 65 minutes, and Tony comes on for 20, 25 minutes, half an hour, and they're battering ramming those centre halves. That's what they do, and I think that's the only option, really. If he plays a false 9, he'll still be deep, but I think Ederson is back and we've got some physicality. I reckon it'd be the answer, possibly. They have a very good manager. It's going to be a hard game, but it's going to be a good football game, I tell you. I like Richard Rios. Yes, Richard Rios is a very good player. We're linked with him. And Diouf is a good shout. Is that the striker, though? Isn't he quite old, Andy Diouf? Am I thinking about the right person? No, Delfour, I'm thinking. Andy Delfour, I'm thinking of. We can't have Soufat right back. Leif Davies will cross for bum fun. See, that's the issue. That is the issue with... Leaf is a very good centre left back. He's a very tall left back as well. So if you did put Mavropanos on TB on the right hand side, they would physically match up against one another. But then Wan-Bissaka is one of the best one-on-one defenders in the Premier League. Every team is playing 4-2-3-1. I missed a classic 4-4-2. We had a discussion about that before. I remember that. I think it was Gatesy's the big debate. That should be on next week, actually, or maybe the week after. So international break. We've also, honestly, mark your calendars during the international break. Probably Tuesday, maybe either Monday the 14th or Tuesday the 15th. We have got a chef's kiss of an ex-player interview. You guys, majority of you guys are going to really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. Nothing against Taylor. He's merely a passenger. I don't think he's a passenger. I think he's utilised wrong. When we played Liverpool, he came on for 25 minutes at the end, wasn't it? That's probably the best I've seen him play all season, or for a long time. Because he had energy and the other sides didn't have the energy, and he had a bit between his teeth, and I really enjoyed that. I think it's time to drop Emerson and Paqueta, maybe a little rest. They don't look like themselves at the moment. I don't think the whole team. I think the only one who's coming out, in all honesty, for any credibility at the moment is probably Matt Skillman, and maybe Wan-Bissaka potentially as well. The rest of the team are pretty meh, I think, at the moment. I think Emerson's not playing well. Definitely not the Emerson we've seen last year or the year before. Paqueta's not playing well, understandably, with Paqueta. He's got other things in his mind at the moment. Bowen's not playing well. Kudus isn't playing well. Antonio's not playing well. Is it a function of they're being told to do different stuff they're not used to and they're still trying to figure it out? Or they're not happy, or it's just not clicking? There's been a big changeover of players. I don't think any of them, as I said, apart from Max. I think Max has been pretty good most games. pretty, and yes, you've seen fits and starts from the others, but I think him and I think Wan-Bissaka have been the two sort of standouts in the last 6 games. I'd suggest consistently, not on a match-by-match basis, but across the board. I'm worried about us having the oldest squad in the league, especially after the game when only have 2 players. Trouble is, nothing's going to happen, Kent, until in the summer. Obviously, I did the show this morning about next year's squad overhaul again. We've got pretty much most of the 30-year-old players will be out of contract. So Fabianski, Soufal, Cresswell, Ings, and Antonio. They're all 5 of those gone, and straight away you've got a very young squad then, or reasonable mid-age squad then. I don't mind on the left if the top 3 interchangeable. I agree. So what you're saying, Russ, is Kudus is played left or dropped. He is clueless. I agree. Well, I mean, not necessarily clueless, but you know what I mean? It's like, if we all can see it, I just don't know why it's not being done. We all know that he's a better 10 than he is on the left wing. We've got Somerville there now who clearly can do a job there. Good player, really good player. And he'll improve, but he'll only improve if he gets minutes. So it's not necessarily clueless, but I think he's wasting on the left-hand side, and then Somerville's wasting on the bench. I mean, we'll see when the team sheet happens, when the team sheet lottery comes up. We'll need a linchpin, Rice's linchpin. Hate to say it, but I agree. I think we are in this scenario at the moment. We are missing him. I don't think we missed him so much last year because a lot of it was the same. A lot of the players were the same. There wasn't much it sort of worked. Thomas Souček played a lot better as well. Now with so many players left and gone, and it seems the evolution now that had to happen. We had to rip the Band-Aid off because of the poor squad management in the previous regime, and buying the wrong players at the wrong time, and buying older players and hanging on to them and not selling players when we needed to sell them. We had to have this major surgery in our squad, and it had to happen. So that's why it made sense at the time, to change it all, change it with a new manager. Because I said, if we had David Moyes in and did the squad rehaul, firstly he'd veto everything because it was the squad that he wanted rather than the squad that Tim Steindem wants to bring in, which means going forward that if we do decide to move on from Lopetegui, for example, it's easier to change head coach than it is to change a manager. Because in essence, Brighton have done it. They've gone through Potter and De Zerbi and now the young lad now without much change in fortune or start. It's a continuation. It's a project. So that's a good thing in my eyes. Lopetegui that's tired. I think the players are starting to take over camp. Here's the thing: if JLo can find his proper 11, things get settled with one head of the bench. Indeed, in terms of this, Damien, I think the trouble is we don't see. And I've always said this: you only see a microcosm of what's happening. We see him on the touchline or in the press conference for 8 minutes. There's a lot more going on in the background, and I think let's be honest. Julian Lopetegui was at the under-21 game on Wednesday. I've never seen David Moyes. Didn't see any under-21 games at Rush Green. I saw his coaching staff, but never saw Julian Lopetegui. Never saw sort of the main man. I'd see Billy McKinley or Mark Robson when he was involved with the first team rather than the under-21s. That's good. That's a positive. Because at least there's some interest being taken into the academy. Whether that transcends into players going into the pathway and moving up, we'll wait and see. The cardboard cutout Bambi would be better than the real thing. I would love to have bum fun with Damien. There we go. Russ, check Andy Diouf out. Ball winning, naturally left footed would be a great partner for Alvarez. There are a couple of players there's one who's the Villarreal guy who we'll talk about Hammer's headline. He's a stay central. I don't like this rotation, all things. But Damien, you've got to be honest. He blows out of his arse after 60 minutes. And so for me, I think he's better utilised coming off the bench as an impact player rather than as a starter. Now, at the moment, he's all we got at the moment. But I think with Falk and Antonio as a two, I think that's going to be very affected. Pitch blackout at 2 a.m. off to work. Good luck. Looked pissed off in training the other day. Well, how can you tell? He always looks angry, Matt. That's what I mean. And the trouble is, things like that then get exaggerated, and people sort of then will say, "Oh yeah, he was." But how would you know? I look pissed off half the time when I'm on a Zoom call, but I might not be. I might have a really bad, resting bitch face. Emily seemed a good player last season. It's not the same player. Didn't Emerson want to go? No, he didn't. There was talk of Roma being interested, but not a case of him wanting to leave. And in fact, he said he didn't want to leave. I might get shot in flames, but I think we're lacking leadership. No, we are, mate. I agree. I don't think Bones is captain material, but the decision's been made, and we stick by it. And the worst decision would be to take the captaincy off him, because if you take it off him, then it's clear indication that he's not up for the job, and that would completely demoralise the lad. I think you build around him. I've never been a fan of having centre halves or CDMs. I agree. I think Max would be a good one. Although talking to Dave from Wolves, he was saying that he didn't think he was much of a captain material, but maybe that's changed. You don't change it; you have to change all the backroom staff too. You do indeed. The way we are with injured player announcements, I wouldn't be surprised if Falk didn't return. But Peter, the thing was, I don't understand all that news, because I remember talking about it 3 weeks ago, saying he's unlikely to be featured until after the international break. It must have been a slow route. Yeah, he does play Ivars. That's what I mean. That's not what I'm saying. I said when he plays, he needs to stay central. Yeah, he does, but he drifts, and that's the issue when you get someone who's not an out. He wasn't born a striker. He was converted, so naturally he's going to drift out into the wing, which has always been his natural position. So that's probably where he feels most at home. But I agree. I wish he would stay there, because half the time he'll do the stuff that we want Bowen to do, and there's no one in the middle, and that to me is a real issue. The way you've had striker issues, I reckon Antonio's going around for elite lead pipe and removing competition. Was fit, he would score. I agree. Need to go back to a 4-1-4-1. Yeah, quite like that. Yeah, I think it's under instructions. Never used to do it under Moyes. He did, Damien. Yeah, he did. He would constantly drift down to the left hand and right hand side, constantly. Not just, and that's just a factor of him all the time. It's not just under Lopetegui. But that's just him. That's just him. He would drift out onto the left hand, onto the wings, get the ball and pick it up. He would do, and I will find 4 or 5 examples to prove that. That's just him. That's just the way that's just in his DNA, in my eyes, which is great, which is fine. But then I remember quite often, not last year, Paqueta would end up playing as a striker. Several times I remember Paqueta dropping into striker and Antonio moving out onto the left-hand side. That's the issue. He always drifts and takes them. But again, if it's instructed or whether that's what he does. No good striker will sign for us on our track record. No, he didn't. Not off the ball. He did. After all, how are we doing? Confident to win? Yeah, very confident. Due to big diagnosis, was supposed to be a bruise, and that was weeks ago. Well, bruise, I don't think it was misdiagnosis by our team. We were saying he did that quite a lot. He did. It's his natural position. Right, stop fighting, you two. Damien, I'll be honest, I think you're wrong, mate. Usually I agree with you, but I think you're wrong. Antonio would drift out quite a bit. And as I said, I remember last year, Paqueta almost playing. I remember crosses from Antonio and Paqueta in the middle. And you're thinking, why? Indeed, we're all fans. We are all fans. Right, anyway, let's do the members draw. So as I said, anyone who's a channel member, you get your weekly podcast every week. Me, Holly and Anton. This week we did something about Desert Island Games, which people really liked. And we're going to be rolling that out onto the main channel, getting loads of ex-players and sort of fans on, talking about their 3 games they'd taken on Desert Island. You also get your ex-player interview. We had Sebastian Schemmel last week, which was really good. And again, there'll be videos for the main channel. Got some really good celebrity and ex-player interviews coming up. As I said, one the second week into the international break, chef's kiss. Honestly, I'm so excited. I don't usually get really, really excited. I'm boyhood excitement for this one. Because I've looked, right, and I haven't found him do an interview at all. At all. About West Ham. I haven't seen one. I haven't found one on YouTube or anything. So there we go. Hope Kudus will start. Argue about how sexy Anton is. That's no debate. Not defensively, he wouldn't. Not as a, oh, come on, Damien. Shush. We're all West Ham fans. Usually at West Ham 4-5. I watch every game. I don't watch the highlights, says Damien. Oh, Damien, please, mate. He wasn't. He was never central. He's never been permanently central. He's always drifted out onto the side. Sometimes he stays central. Not all the time. Remember Wolves? We won 4-0 and he was central. He turned and run, but he does drift. He did drift out. But then that's probably the function of it. Indeed, it's an exclusive. It is indeed. You better watch out. It's going to be a very good interview. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, let's give away some prizes, shall we, to the members. As I said, if you ever want to get involved, there's a link down there to the join button, and you will support the channel that way. Right, let's share the screen. So we've got a few bits. We've got we're going to give away. We'll start with the not the booby prizes. We'll start with the main. We'll start with some of the prizes. This is from our friends at Alloy Collectors. There we go. 1965 shirts is available now, and also this year's home shirt will be available. Got 2 of them. Damien, then you are getting a bit angry, mate. Honestly, and we communicate quite a lot. I think you are honestly usually right, but I think you were wrong with that thing about Antonio, and then defense mechanism came up. That's all I'm saying. We're all friends here. We're all friends. Right. Okay. Let's get this going. Okay. Let's spin it and let's. All right. Well, you can stop. Just stop now, Damien. Just stop there, Damien. You were wrong that time. Okay. So the first one goes to Jeremy Tolbert. Well done. You have won one of the metal shirts. I'll get that sent out to you now. Once you give it, we're not going to remove you because you might win it again unless you get that one. This is for another one of those shirts. And that one goes to, if it's Anton, it's not going to count. Steve, brilliant. So if your name is Steve, unfortunately, you are sometimes, my friend. If your name is Steve and you're a channel member, let me know. And you've won one of these as well. Congrats. Now we've got 2 of these mugs. So if you want to buy one of these, let me know. £10 plus £2.95 packaging. There's 2 of these we're going to give away to our channel members. So let's do that. How is it a fix? I don't know anyone called Steve. As I said, if Anton's on there, he won't count. 2 of these. So the first one is going to Michael. Well done, Michael. Let us know below that like indeed. Gently caress the like button for me. Michael's won one of the cups. Well done. Michael always does well with these things. I just sent him a picture of bloody Jared Bowen he signed. He got the other day. And the other one is going to, if it's Simon, I'm not going to, that's going to cost me a fucking bomb. Steve, that probably is you, mate, because your name is Steve on there. So message me, message us West Ham Network at gmail.com and with your address, and I'll get that out. I am Steve, and so is my wife. Stephen, unfortunately, you're not a member, and I can tell you're not, because you haven't got a lovely little thing like that, Steve, so don't lie. So, sorry, what I mate. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to post that one. I'm going to give that to Tom, and then Tom's going to bring it with him when he sees you in Dubai next week or a couple of weeks' time in it. Right, okay. We have got signed notebooks available on Amazon. West Ham Retro Netbooks. This one is signed by Matthew Effrington, friend of the channel, and that's going to go to. Let me rewind. That is going to lovely John Matomsky. I'll message him. Lovely John Matomsky. You'll probably want that to give away to a thing. And the last one is a signed one by Dean Ashton. Dean Ashton. So there's 6 prizes we're giving away today. So well done. Definitely a fix. Now Budden has won. That's the first time he's ever won, I think, Tom or Simon. So there we go. And that one is going to Mick. Mick. Do we have a Mick in the house? So anyway, Mick, congratulations. Again, your name will be on the YouTube thing as Mick with a spanner next to a thingamajig next to a hammer. So any of those winners, let me know. Yes, it's Mickey Antonio, exactly. He was drifting out onto the wing when he did that. Oh, he doesn't drift out onto the wing, sorry. So any of the winners, congratulations. Please message us at westhamnetwork@gmail.com and we'll get those prizes sent out to you as soon as possible, apart from Simon's, where I will give it to Tom on Sunday when I see him, and he can put it in his suitcase and give it to you. There we go. Although I probably will forget. And if not, I'll wait till Christmas and give it to you at Christmas when you come back here. Anyway, peeps, thanks very much for your time as per usual. Keep an eye on the channel for the latest news, reviews, opiniones. I'm Irish, does that count? Hopefully, actually, we may well even see the lesser spotted Irish Tommy. He may well be doing a show. I'm going to message you in a minute and see if he's doing a show tonight. But keep an eye on the channel for that. And we'll have all the starting 11 show. We'll have a match day morning, watch along, everything like that. If you are going to the game on Saturday and you see me, particularly after the game with the old microphone and the camera and whatnot, come over and say hello. And we might have a little gift for you if you answer a question correctly, thanks to our friends at alloycollectors.com. But until that time, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Come on, you bloody irons. Much love. Bye-bye.